Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel, and today I'm planting out some early brassicas. I've got some broccolini, I've got some Romanesco cauliflowers, I've got some cauliflowers, I've got some cabbages. Yeah, nice mix of things, but unfortunately they were planted in September and they're a bit too far on, but I've got to plant them out, and so I'm not really sure what to do, but I'll show you what I'm trying and we'll see how it goes. So here is a sample plant, and this one is a Romanesco cauliflower, and I'm going to plant it under fleece. I'm going to plant out this bed, and I've got 3 Romanesco cauliflowers, and I'm going to keep on planting. So the next batch of plants I've got are broccolinis, and as I say, these are experimental. I mean, basically there's no books that say that you can plant early Romanesco cauliflowers or early broccolinis, so you just have to try it and see how it goes. And as I say, the plants are too big, so we'll be harvesting them for leaves most likely, rather than for flowers, but anyway, we'll see. And ideally I think October, November might be better sowing dates for these. And so next I've got these 2 Calabrese. I've already got lots of these in the polytunnel. All of these I've got in the polytunnel as well, and they're lovely plants, and we've already started harvesting them for leaves in the polytunnel, and they're really nice. So yeah, let's get these in. So next I've got these, I've got 6 I think, nice little cauliflowers. Now when I potted these on, they were very sickly, but they've grown on really strongly. So anyway, we'll give them a go. So there we go, we're all planted up. We'll just pop some bottles in just to hold the fleece off the plants for a while. So there we go, it's all fleeced up, watered in. And I'll just talk a little bit about why now. Why would I plant these so early? So there's a few reasons. First is, they're in the mini greenhouse at the moment, and I need the space in there for the onions. Second reason, they're getting massive temperature swings in the greenhouse. It's boiling hot during the day and then pretty cold, I don't know, 3 or 4 degrees at night, something like that. So yeah, so I don't think that's doing them any good. And then what else have we got? Yeah, they're very low value plants to me. The whole lot of them, a batch of about 30 plants that I popped in September, I was hoping that they would come much later in the season, so they'd be ready in December. But it turned out that because of dodgy compost and that sort of thing, they just didn't progress at all. So they ended up being with me now, and so I don't really need them. They're just getting in the way, but I might be able to get some use out of them. So that's another reason, just as important. I've got a bed free, so might as well fill it with something. Hate to see a bed free. And that bed is actually going to be a brassica bed later on in the season, so by the time they come out, I'll probably pop some radishes in or something like that, and maybe a bit of spinach because it's quite shady in that little corner. And then I'll plant the summer brassicas, so the sprouts and kales and purple sprouting broccoli and stuff like that. So pretty much the same batch of plants I also planted in the polytunnel, and obviously they've done really much better in here, and I've interplanted them into the lettuce beds, again just as a kind of opportunistic crop to see what I can get. And I'm going to harvest them for leaves all the way through the hungry gap until I plant the peppers and the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the like. So I'll just show you those. So I've got some really nice Romanesco cauliflowers, and we've had one already, and that's the second one. We've got another couple. Some of them got a touch of frost, so they've not coloured quite as nicely as this one, but they're all doing pretty well. But more importantly, leaves. The leaves on these are absolutely gorgeous. And then I've got these baby Calabrese, and again, we're eating the leaves, they're fantastic. But we are actually going to get some little baby Calabrese heads. Now, quite how big these are going to grow, I don't know. I suspect they're not going to grow much bigger than they are now, and at best they'll be the size of a small fist like mine. But definitely worth having. really lovely. And yeah, I'm really pleased that in a way that this experiment went the way that it did. And so next year I think I am still going to plant some in September with the intention of getting them like this really early. But I'm also going to plant in October and November to overwinter them as smaller plants, maybe half the size of these plants as they are now. And I think that will be better. And then I'll plant some more. In fact, my next batch of Calabrese, I've just, they're just germinated. They're about an inch tall at the moment. And then I did plant some, maybe just a few weeks later, 2 weeks later perhaps, and you can see that they're coming up lovely now. And maybe these will do a little bit better, these slightly later planted. But as I said before, there's no books that teach you about any of this. You just have to try it and see what works in your own microclimate. All sorts of things down here, more Calabrese, more some cauliflowers planted very close together because I only want small cauliflower heads, so I kind of want to force them to come small. And yeah, some broccolini, and I got some of these really late planted sprouts. And just look, the leaves on these, fantastic. So in a few weeks' time, these will be ready for leaves, and I'm really looking forward to that. Although I'm getting some damage on some of the lower leaves, the newer leaves are looking in really good condition. And then finally, I've got these. Again, these are Calabrese, and I didn't have enough space in the beds. I didn't want to take out all the lettuces, so I just popped those in pots, and they're doing pretty well as well. And I've got another one of the Romanescos in a pot doing pretty well as well. So I planted 10 little bunches of sprouts like this. I think I planted 5 seeds in each of these modules, and then I trimmed and thinned them down to 3. I planted them on the 19th of November, and they've got a decent root ball on them now. And so I've planted 9 of them out, and I'll show you those in a minute, and I've left 1. And when you're doing experiments like this, I think it's always useful to leave 1 to see how well it grows on from this point, to see whether it would be better maybe to plant them, 3 or 4 weeks later, and see if you get a better result. So yeah, always a useful tip. And of course, if you get one that fails in the ground, then you've got 3 little plants spare as well. So you can already see, actually, just look at those leaves. Can't wait to eat them. Of course, we've got no sprouts. Well, the quality of the sprout leaves at the moment is not so good. So I'm really looking forward to these. So I've chosen to plant them in this netted frame, and I'm going to cover them in fleece. Ideally I'd plant them in a cold frame, but I've got no cold frames spare, so this is the way it's going to have to be. The brassicas, so they should be fairly hardy, and I don't actually mind how well they do in the long term, because I'm just going to be eating the leaves as fast as I can. Now when I'm fleecing young plants like this, I know some people just lay the fleece on top, but I don't like to do that. I like to put these little pegs in, and these are landscape fabric pegs, and I find them rubbish for that purpose. I much prefer just the hoop steel pegs, but they're really good for holding fleece off these little baby plants. And so I'll get those fleeced up now. So there we go, that's enough of my crazy brassica experiments. I'll see you soon.